am going to read the first book of A Song of Ice and Fire, A Game of Thrones. But before I continue, I want to tell you that I have already watched this show, and at that time I was so invested in it that I had watched it in just 6 to 7 days. Yeah. But now I'm eager to find out new different things, new interesting things from the books. And if I don't find anything different between books and so, I will not continue. Sorry, but I will not continue. I don't want to read the same things that I have watched in this show. So without further wasting time, let's start reading. I just finished the prologue of the Game of Thrones, and I can't help but compare this one with the prologue of The Blade itself, the must read book by Joy Abercrombie. Now, sorry to disappoint you all, but I like the prologue of The Blade itself more than this one. The reasons are the description of action, the writing style, and the thrill when you read something were better in The Blade itself than this one. I'm currently reading chapter 1, and I got a wonderful idea about what type of tales we should tell to our 6-year-old children. Listen. And their woman lay with the others in the long night to sad, terrible half-human children. And credit goes to old man, okay? These type of stories we should tell to our 6-year-old children, okay? Not the tales of Peter Pan, Dumbo, Cinderella. Nope, no. We should tell stories like this. Why? Because they are almost man-grown, man. Why don't you understand, huh? I'm joking. What a pleasant surprise, guys. Jon Snow is 14 years old, Daenerys is 13 years old, and Daenerys is going through a lot at the age of 13. Man, we serious. We all see people like him around us, just like him, prancing about here and there, poking their noses, etc., etc. And yeah, some people hate him, but I found him amusing, because I never took him seriously. To hate someone, you have to take someone serious. But to me, Viserys was just a spoiled, arrogant, little, and what else? Delusional child. Yeah. Chapter 6 of Game of Thrones, and one thing I have to mention is that the relation of Jon with his dad Wolf Ghost, I don't recall anything about them in the show, but here in the book the relation of them is well written, and I think it is the plus point for me of the book. And now I will be jumping right back into chapter 7. Completed chapter 7, and man, Catelyn Stark is different. She is smart, she is ambitious, and she is cunning. Let me read you something. Jon would father no sons who might someday contest with Catelyn's own grandchildren for Winterfell. This shows how cruel and ambitious she is. She even insists, she forced Ned to go for the to the King's Landing, because she wanted her grandchildren to rule the 7 kingdoms. Yeah, she is different. She is different in the books. Currently reading chapter 8, and there is a spoiler for House of the Dragon in this chapter. I am spoiled with it now, but don't worry, I will not spoil it for you guys. There are some names of Bran's favorite knights in this chapter, and 2 of them spark my memory. Sir Eric and his twin brother Sir Eric. The 2 of them were in House of the Dragon, and I just want to know, were these names written in the book when the first time book was published, or are they edited afterward? If you know, please comment down below and let me know. I just read, I don't know which chapter it was, but it was about Bran having vision with the 3-eyed raven, and which was far better than the show, in which he was following 3-eyed raven through the crypts and all. I wondered why they changed it in the show, but I think because of the budget issue. But if they had shown us this, it would be wonderful. And one other thing is that the Hound in the book is worse. I didn't like him much in the show, but here in the book he is worse, he is cruel, and I didn't like it. I think I will not like him much in the future. That I never like Sansa. I mean, ever. Why? Because she's a spoiled brat. She's a very spoiled brat who thinks like, why I'm very pretty girl, and why don't people understand me? Why I don't understand that I'm always right? I behave like a good lady should behave, and I should tell lies. I should tell lies about Arya. For what? For my Prince Joffrey. He is very handsome and gallant. He loves me very well. And he saved me from the Hound and the Headsman. He is a very good person. I'm in love with him. I hate it. Question: why Ned Stark brought his two daughters to the King's Landing? I mean, why? Okay, maybe for the experience, but then why didn't he send them back to the Winterfell with Catelyn Stark? I mean, surely by then he would have realized that these people kills innocent boys like Butcher's boy, and the king hadn't said a word about it. He had ignored Ned when he was begging for sparing the life of his direwolf, not his direwolf, means his daughter's direwolf. So why he was putting his children in the danger? Just for a plot twist? Someone is saying that he did that because Sansa is going to marry Prince Joffrey and all, but she is going to marry Joffrey. She will be marrying him in some years, not today, not now, not in some months. She will be marrying him in some years. So why? Completed 34% of the book, and what I figured is that I like reading Tyrion Lannister, I like reading Jon Snow, I like reading Daenerys Targaryen, but what I don't like it when it comes to the King's Landing. Maybe because of the vipers and thieves and liars down there, and people like Lord Baelish. So that's it. There is something that I want to point out here is when Catelyn Stark and her council member found out about the dagger, that it was made from the Valyrian steel and it might belong to someone rich from the King's Landing. Then none of them were smart enough to realize that no sane person would ever arm an assassin with his own dagger, because Tyrion had told this to Catelyn Stark, but no council member had ever counseled her about this, that it might be a false trade and someone is targeting Starks, or someone is provoking Starks, and targeting someone that is innocent. This was my question. I have completed 50% of the book and I am exhausted right now. Usually I don't get tired after reading anything, but now I am. The reason is that the show has done a wonderful job to cover an entire book, and the other issue that I have with the book is writing style. The description took too long. I mean, the description of Wall, the description of Winterfell, the Fortress of Vale took 1 to 2 pages, and there were no interaction in between them. So I felt like I'm reading an essay. So yeah, the same thing that I had felt when I had read The Fellowship of the Ring, the first book of the Lord of the Rings. And yeah, I know many of you guys like this type of stuff, the description, narration and stuff like that, but I'm not a fan of it. I prefer suspense, plot twists, and character build-up, things like that. And yeah, I think I'm not continuing this book right now. Maybe in future, if I forget the show, then I will of course read the book and then I will update. But for now, it's enough for me. Okay, so yeah, this is my review. You can disagree, comment down below and let me know your thoughts. And I will start a new book by Brandon Sanderson, The Trace of Emily. You can suggest the books. I prefer mostly fantasy fiction, so yeah, you can suggest me in the comments and I will definitely look upon it. So that's it. It was my review of Game of Thrones, 50% of the Game of Thrones. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up and comment down below. Take care.